All right. Good morning, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for supporting the House of Glitter. My name is Asi or Sita, and I am one of the co-founders of House of Glitter. And this morning, we're going to be focusing on our breath. This time of year for me is really all about centering around my breath and remembering that I have the power to control my breath and that I am a magical human, and I hopefully we feel magical after this flow. So we'll start our Sunday morning yoga this morning in a comfortable position, however that looks to you. Maybe we're sitting in a chair, maybe we're lying down with the blankets over us, maybe we have our mat out. And I'll invite you to grab a blanket, a pillow, anything that makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel safe, makes you feel cozy. Maybe we want to grab some water. And once we found ourselves in our comfortable space, I'll invite us to close our eyes. And we'll just begin to tap into the natural breath, breathing in through the nose and out. In through the nose and exhaling out. And as we continue our breath flow, I'll invite us to deepen each breath. Breathing in through the nose and expanding the rib cage, filling the belly with air. And as we exhale, pushing all of the air out. Maybe we want to place our hands on our belly to feel what that breath feels like inside. Inhaling, breathing into the belly. And exhale. And I'll invite us to continue this deep belly breath for a few more rounds. And each time, engaging deeper and deeper into our breath, slowing it down. And taking one more deep breath in through the nose, filling the belly till we can't anymore. And exhale, pushing all the air out. And returning to our natural breath, deeply and slowly. And once again, I'll invite us to think about an intention for our practice today. And while we're engaging in breath flow, I'll invite us to think about what needs breath, what needs space, what needs intention in our lives, in our bodies. And really letting our breath guide us in this moment. Whatever it is that we feel like we need support with, I'll invite us to send our breath in that direction. And we breathe in whatever it is that we need support with. And exhale, pushing that breath and that intention toward our support, whether it's our body, whether it's our family or close ones. Whether it's ourself. Again, breathing in whatever it is that we need. And exhale, sending the breath to support. And our practice today will be really focused on what we need. So I'll encourage all of us to really think about what it is that we need to feel safe, to feel comfortable. And in this moment, whatever that looks like, please, please, please do that. And we'll take one last breath together, inhaling. And exhale, returning back to the space. And we can keep our eyes closed if it feels good for us, or we can focus on a spot in front of us for our practice, or we can open our eyes. But I'll invite us to drop the chin down to the chest gently and slowly. And we'll begin to rock the head from ear to shoulder, to the other side, ear to shoulder. And taking this as slow as possible, and continuing our deep breath practice, inhaling and exhaling, letting our breath guide us. And whatever side we're on, I'll invite us to continue opening the head all the way up, forehead to the ceiling or the sky or wherever we're practicing, and rotating the head all the way around. Again, remembering our breath practice. I know for me, a lot of times I hold on to my breath and I don't even realize that I'm doing it. So, creating an intentionality to deepen our breath is a beautiful and sacred practice for ourselves. And we can reverse the direction. Again, going as fast or as slow as our breath is guiding us. And we'll return the head back up to center, grounding in our breath once again, breathing in and exhale, pushing the air out. And I'll invite us to drop the ear down to the shoulder, whether it's left or right. And we'll reach that left or that right arm up and over, placing the fingertips near the ear. And just naturally letting the weight of the elbow pull here. With each breath, breathing deeper into that stretch, whether it's the left side of the neck or the right. And we'll begin to turn the head to look down to the floor between the leg and the arm. And we'll bring the stretch to the back of the neck. Once again, letting the natural weight of the elbow just gently pull here. And I'll invite us to bring the open hands that we have to the back of the neck. And using those fingertips, maybe we address some areas of tension that we're noticing in the tops of the shoulders, in the neck, the base of the skull. And I'll invite us to take our time with this. Maybe we want to get behind the ear to where the jaw is. And gently releasing. Maybe we want to take one head roll all the way around to notice what we released on that side. And we'll come back up to center. Dropping the other ear down to the other shoulder, reaching the other hand up and over, whether it's left or right. And breathing into that stretch on the opposite side. Again, with each breath, maybe we're engaging the stretch a little deeper. And once again, turning the head to look down at the floor, bringing the stretch to the back of the neck. Taking a few breaths here. Maybe these are our deepest and most expansive breaths. And once again, with the fingertips that we have available, you can bring them to the back of the neck, tops of the shoulders, base of the skull, and address any other areas of tension on this other side. Remembering to tap into our breath. And we can gently release again. Let's just take one more head rolling around. And we'll come back up to center. And I'll invite us to take a quick pause, noticing how our body is feeling right now. Noticing what's coming up for us in our breath. And whatever that is, we'll acknowledge it and honor that it's there. And on our next inhale, I'll invite us to reach the fingertips up overhead, reaching the fingertips up toward the sky, dropping the shoulders behind us. Reaching the fingertips up. And this time on our exhale, bending at the elbows, reaching the elbows down. And unraveling. And we'll do that again, guided by our breath, inhaling, reaching the fingertips up. Exhale, bending at the elbows. And unraveling. And we'll do this one more time, inhaling, deepest breath. Feeling the breath fill. And exhale, releasing and unraveling down. And I'll invite us to plant that right hand or left hand into the floor. And whatever open hand we have, we'll inhale, reaching the arm up overhead, lifting at the fingertips once again. Pressing the hip down into the floor, feeling the stretch on that opposite side. One more deep inhale. And exhale. Coming back to center. This time planting that left or right hand into the floor, and whatever open hand we have, inhaling, reaching the fingertips up, and exhale, sinking that hip into the floor, really feeling the extension happening between the hip and the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, folding down. This time we'll inhale, reaching both of the arms up again. And as we exhale, we'll hinge at the hips, folding forward to whatever feels good for us. Maybe we round the spine, get comfortable. And let's just take a moment here. Feeling the pull on the outside of these hips. And taking one last breath here. We'll gently begin to walk the fingertips back toward our center, lifting ourselves up. And taking a breath. Once again, noticing how we're feeling in our body. Maybe we're vibrating a little. Maybe our body is starting to feel warm. Maybe the caffeine is just kicking in and we're just starting to feel awake. Or maybe we're sleeping right now. But wherever it is, let's take that deep breath. And exhale. And however it feels most supportive, I'll invite us to meet in a tabletop position. And in our tabletop position, we'll make sure that the ankles and the wrists are stacked underneath the hips and the shoulders. And we'll do a few rounds of our cat-cow. So when we exhale, we'll round the spine, tucking in the chin. And as we inhale, pushing the belly button down toward the floor, opening up. Exhale, rounding in the spine. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale. And I'll invite us to do this a few more times. Exhaling to round the spine. Inhaling to press the belly button down toward the floor. And we'll breathe into this spinal stretch at our own pace. Exhaling to round. Inhaling to press through. And maybe on our next few rounds, we want to explore with rotating the spine around. Maybe we're lifting and moving over one side to the other. Maybe we're wiggling the hips from side to side, opening up the lower back. Or maybe we're just continuing with our cat-cows. Whatever variation works best for your body in this moment. And I'll invite us to take our last expression of our cat-cow, whether it's the variation or we're still doing our cat-cows, and we'll return to a neutral spine. Taking a breath to notice how our spine is feeling. And I'll invite us to bring the big toes to touch, opening the knees a little bit further than shoulder width apart. Taking a deep breath in, and on the exhale, searching the hips toward the feet and walking the hands out in front of us for a child's pose. And just surrender into our child's pose. Breathing the deepest and the most expansive we have yet. And taking this last breath in our child's pose. On the exhale, or whenever it feels good, I'll invite us to roll out or walk out of our child's pose and returning to a tabletop. And I'll invite us to plant, whether it's the left or the right, and whatever arm we have planted firmly into the floor, we'll lift the opposite arm up toward the ceiling, fingertips up, stretching. And as we exhale, threading underneath the arm and dropping the shoulder and the ear down to the floor. Keeping the hips stacked over the knees. And breathing into this twist. And pressing through that hand that's pressed into the floor, we'll gently lift up and out of that twist. Taking a moment to stabilize our breath. And we'll press into the opposite hand, lifting and reaching that open fingertip. And exhale, threading underneath the opposite arm. Once again, dropping the ear, dropping the shoulder. And at the bottom of our next inhale, we exhale, pressing up and slowly coming back to center. We'll bring the big toes to touch, or we can bring the knees together for a different variation of child's pose. But whatever you need in this moment, please, please do that. And in our child's pose, we could bring the hands behind us. Maybe we want to grab our ankles, or just rest the hands next to us, forehead into the floor. Remembering to come back to our breath. Letting our breath guide the way and guide our pace. And at the bottom of our next inhale, we'll exhale, walking or rolling back to our tabletop. This time, we'll tuck the toes into the floor, pressing the hands into our mat or the floor or our towel, or maybe we're in our bed. And we'll lift the knees up and hinge at the hips, folding into a downward dog. But I'll invite us to take it super slow and to keep the knees bent. Maybe we're just letting gravity hang from our tailbone down to the crown of our head. Or maybe we're shifting the weight from left to right. opening up the back of the hamstrings and the calves. But whatever it is, letting our breath guide the way. And I'll invite us to bring the knees down back to the floor slowly. And however it feels most comfortable and most like a gift to yourself, we'll find ourselves back in a seated position. Let's just take a moment once again to notice where our body is, to tap into where our breath is. And before we head down to our resting position, I'll invite us to bring the soles of the feet together to be joined. And we'll open the feet up like a book. And I'll invite us to bring our fingertips into our fascia and just take a moment to honor all of the work that our feet do. And maybe we want to bring some topical heat into the toes, into the arches, into the heels. And we'll bring this movement to stillness. And planting the feet into the floor so that the knees are facing up toward the ceiling or the sky. We'll gently move and rock the hips from side to side, giving ourselves some space. Rocking back and forth on our sits bone. And slowly, with kindness and compassion, rolling our lower back into the floor. Let me turn around so you can hear me. Keeping the knees up. We can bring the arms out by our side and just gently rock the knees from side to side. Keeping the lower back engaged into the floor. And bringing the feet back to center. And as we inhale on this next breath, I'll invite us to squeeze the knees into the chest. Maybe we rock back and forth, feeling the spine, the upper, the middle, the lower back into the floor. And returning back to stable center. We inhale, squeezing the knees closer to our chest. And as we exhale, slowly releasing, letting everything come down to the floor. And maybe we want to place the palms up to invite openness into our rest. Or maybe we want to place the palms into the floor facing down to inspire and encourage groundedness into our rest. And maybe this is not how we rest. So I'll invite each and every one of you to find a position that feels safe and comfortable. And wherever that resting position is, whether it's with blankets or pillows or on our mat, we'll tap into the natural breath once again. Surrendering our body into whatever resting position we're in. And I'll invite us with each inhale and exhale to scan parts of our body. As we breathe in, bringing intention and awareness to our face. What are we holding on to that we need to let go? Breathing into our neck and our shoulders. What tension are we holding on to that we need to release? Breathing into our spine. Breathing in to our hips, to our knees. What do we need to strengthen? Breathing into our toes. What do we need support with? And on these last few breaths, breathing in to our whole body, filling our whole body with air. Sending the breath from the top of our crown all the way down to our toes. And I'll invite us to roll over to one side and curl up into a little ball. And taking our deepest, most expansive breaths yet. Sinking deeper into our rest. And absolutely no pressure whatsoever. Feel free to stay here and to continue your breaths. Or slowly, with intention, you can bring yourself back to a seated position. And we'll take our last breaths together. Maybe we want to place our hands on our chest and on our belly, or maybe we want to place both of our hands to be rested over our heart. And I'll offer a few breaths for us today. A breath for each of the ancestors that we bring to every space that we walk through. We honor you and thank you for bringing us here. Breathing in and out. A breath to honor the indigenous people who have been on this land since before colonization. We honor you with our breath. Breathing in and out. A breath of gratitude to yourself for taking this time to commit to your practice and to breathe with intention. Breathing in and out. And a breath to each and every one of you, and for yourself once again. Breathing in and out. Thank you so much for joining us today for Sunday Yoga. We will have another few Sunday Yogas to come. If you celebrate the holidays, happy holidays. If you're just enjoying time with friends and family, I hope you enjoy all of the joy of this season together in harmony. Thank you so much for breathing with me today.